Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the OpenShift TV Coffee Break here at OpenShift TV. My name is Natalia Vinto, Product Marketing Manager for OpenShift, and I'm very happy to be together with my friends here. Hi, Fabio. How are you?
Hello, good morning. Good morning, guys. I'm fine. Thank you.
Yes, today we have some very special guests because we are kicking off the Red Hat Hackfest office hour. Before explaining what is the Red Hat Hackfest, would you like those wonderful people today? Would you like to present yourself?
Happy to start, Natale. Hi, everyone, and thanks for this great opportunity. Andrea Battaglia, based in Italy, 7 years in Red Hat, and I'm the Hackfest project lead. So I will be your host for the next episode of the Red Hat Hackfest office hour. And I'm happy also to introduce the rest of the team members, esteemed members also of the Red Hat Hackfest admin team. Tanya, if you would like to go next.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for the invitation for the session as well. My name is Tanya Repo, and I'm from the Red Hat Partner Community Team. Great to be here today and great to be part of the Hackfest esteemed team. And I got my coffee here ready. I'm sorry, it has a little bit milk. It's not espresso. I can't take that strong of a coffee from the morning. Great to be here today.
Pleasure, Tanya, and it's a pleasure, Tanya. And any kind of coffee is accepted over here. Of course, we have a precedent bar for the espresso, but we aim also for coffee diversity.
So let's have our shot.
Yeah, I already had 2 or 3. I don't remember, so I'm avoiding the fourth at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
So, folks, do you want to present yourself, Jeff, Carlos?
Yeah, sure. So Jeff Newson, I'm a consultant at Intiv, not Red Hat, but I'm part of the Hackfest community and have been for a couple of years now. And yeah, took part in the original Hackfest, but I don't want to say too much more about that as I'll go into it in a bit more detail later on.
Thank you.
I will go next. Can you hear me, guys? Well?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we can.
Perfect.
Please go ahead.
So, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me today, and thanks to our audience that are following in live stream or the people that will that will see the stream and the recorded stream. So, my name is Carlos Torres, and I'm based in Italy. I joined Red Hat almost 6 years ago. I joined as a specialist solution architect, focusing storage. Then I moved to a sales role as a sales specialist, and now I'm working in the EMEA go-to-market specialist organization, and I'm responsible for Edge business.
Awesome. And Andrea, I already heard some of the nice words that are really trending in the technology: edge computing and open source. So, would you like folks to start introducing for our audience what is the Hackfest and what we will discuss in this monthly appointment that we have here in the OpenShift TV Coffee Break for the Red Hat Hackfest office hours?
Yeah, sure, Natale. Thank you. So we've been treated very well by OpenShift TV. So you and Fabio and also Andrea and the rest of the OpenShift TV team have hosted us several times to discuss the business side of the Hackfest, so events, marketing, and go-to-market with our partners participating in the event. But also we have discussed several times what it means to give a business value to technology. So the Red Hat Hackfest is now a program grown up over almost 2.5 years now. And we aim to make this become an environmental tool where not just partners belonging to the Red Hat partner ecosystem can join together to discuss technology, but also subject matter experts from the business and the technical standpoint from several areas of the IoT enterprise world to listen and share feedback. Our big aim, another big aim of us is also to attract people from outside of the Red Hat ecosystem world, which means upstream or enterprise, whatever. But at Edge, we discuss complex solutions and how to solve customers' challenges from the technical and business standpoints in a community fashion, which means complexity can be solved through collaboration. It's quite rare and almost impossible to have one single actor owning all the skills now to solve challenges. And that's why the Hackfest, from a pure enablement event offering for the partner ecosystem, has turned into a program after lots of effort spent in this. And actually we have Tanya, Carlos, Jeff here, and also Natale, yourself. The community is driven by these amazing people that inject continuously information, new idea, and drive now the creation of new POCs. And that's also why we focus on edge computing, because edge computing brings probably the highest level of complexity to date in customer challenges and customer projects. So if I may share my screen, Natale, I would like to show you a couple of slides I have prepared just to give you an understanding of what we do. Now, as we have discussed many times, the Hackfest as an event, I would like also to discuss the Hackfest from the technical standpoint, still trying to give to the technicalities some business value to create a proposition. There is the Hackfest as a Red Hat event. There is the Hackfest as a community. And it has the former Hackfest name QIoT now, which stands for Quarkus Meets Internet of Things. We wanted to drive cloud native adoption at the edge. We ended up with implementing tools, right? And we are collaborating with go-to-market teams, Carlos first, and also with several BU. We produce tools that are reusable. And that's why I'm also keen to share the way we think of POCs or MVPs, no minimum valuable products, several kinds of stuff that can be interesting to individuals and customers, together with our ecosystem, of course, and who is actually the target of this program.
Andrea,
yeah, please, Natalia.
please, sorry for interrupting you. Before moving forward, I would like to remind or to provide our the people that are following us, what does it mean, edge computing? So, because there are a lot of rumors around edge computing. What does it mean, first of all, for Red Hat? And I'd like to also to ask Geoff, what does it mean for one that is not part of a Red Hat company, but is part of this Hackfest? What does it mean for you, edge computing, which is your point of view? Because if we look at on Google and we look for edge computing, we can find probably 2-3 different versions of and definitions. So please, could you be so nice to provide your point of view?
Yeah, well, that's a tough question, and thanks for not letting me know in advance beforehand, so I could prepare one slide to explain properly.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I don't know, Jeff, Carlos, if you want to reply, as you are also subject matter experts in this, and I will share my 2 cents afterwards.
Sure. Yeah, just to reply your question, Fabio. So in a very simple, the very simple answer is edge computing for Red Hat is the capacity to provide IT services all the way out to the edge, where data is generated and consumed. But this is very simple. Then you need to understand how it is applicable to different companies that are dealing with different kind of business in different verticals, from oil and gas, from manufacturing and industrial edge computing, or up to, I don't know, in public sector services. So this is very common that you always listen a prefix about smart or intelligent. Then you have smart cities, intelligent hospitals, smart factories, right? And as well, in many verticals that include vehicles. So during the summit, we announced a very interesting partnership with General Motors for in-vehicle OS. But I will return the stage to Andreas, because if you are ready with your presentation, Andres, we can continue.
Okay, thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, thanks, Carlos. Yeah, I will go quickly through a couple of slides and then I will hand over to our special guests today. So yeah, actually, Fabio, if you think of Edge, we as Red Hat, together with our partner ecosystem and our technology partners, we work together on a daily basis from the engineering layer up to the go-to-market layer to cover each and every tier of a distributed architecture up to the edge. And by edge, we mean edge device. The pure IoT in terms of sensors or other components that are black boxes, no, that send data to the rest of the distributed infrastructure and platform are not included in our offering. Of course, within the Hackfest environment, we try to connect those sensors and try to make sure that our 80% solution I was about to mention here cover from the pure IoT piece up to the platform, and so including AI, ML, data storing, and analytics. So that's the way we work. The 80% solution, which is represented by a reusable, distributable, secure architecture. And on top of that, we cover the use case with some application implementation, still trying to adopt all the latest and greatest from the enterprise specification and portfolios, which doesn't mean only Red Hat. We have several partners, technology partners collaborating with us, and we adopt several technologies that matter in such a complex solution. So when you talk about edge, you definitely want, for example, to cooperate with Influx for the time series data, and also you want to have security with Cert Manager, and also having a look at all the features provided by the OpenShift platform in several flavors. As you can see here, we have Red Hat OpenShift cluster, we have Red Hat OpenShift single node, and also RHEL for Edge. We make sure that all the components we use from the Red Hat portfolio, from our technology partners, including the hardware, Intel sponsored us heavily during the last year, compose a technology stack that can be transformed into a business value proposition, to adhere to the Red Hat business value, together with in our case, Intel and other companies' business value. One last thing I would like to mention here is technology can be seen as commodity, can be seen as a tool. Don't forget, once you have specification in mind, once you have a proper architecture that can solve most of the edge computing challenges for specific verticals or areas or groups of vertical, it's easy, of course, to reuse those components. Everything we do, every commitment we propose and we put into the implementation of those POCs becomes an outcome in terms of official white papers. This is something we're working on also. And I kindly recommend our audience to go to our community website, where we will also share the PDF version of the text we are presenting today. And now, after my short presentation, I would like to hand over to our special guest, Fabio, if you agree with me. And we have also Jeff and Carlos here who are keen to share something with us.
Please, over to you guys. So let's start from Jeff, if you...
Yeah, of course. So what I wanted to share today was just a look at the Hackfest from both the partner side of participation and sort of the community side outside of Red Hat, and kind of the technology and how we work. So Yeah. First off, it's me, Jeff Newson, principal consultant with Intiv. I spent 10 years writing Java and C++ before moving to the infrastructure side of the house, looking at storage, networking, Linux, all of the good stuff that goes into a lot of the edge, and certainly a lot of the Hackfest technologies. So I spend most of my day these days working with OpenShift on the infra side, really, and seeing how the software is deployed, microservices, but not actually getting involved in creating them. So the Hackfest came up as an option. Say, how did I get involved? So I work for a Red Hat.
Jeff, I like that you made the question.
Yeah.
And you answered. This is a really, a really presenter, well done stuff. Congrats.
Well, I have to admit I had help from the deck, but yeah, I thought, there we go. Put it out there, answer it.
Yeah, I took this opportunity, Jeff, to ask the audience. If you have any questions, please send in the chat. We will bring the question to our guest today. Any question about the Hackfest, but also Jeff will go in a little bit in the technology, Edge, open source with the Edge, RHEL for Edge, OpenShift. We are here for that. So please send your question and we will get them answered.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if I can answer, more than happy to. So yeah, how did I get involved in the Hackfest and why? So Intiv, Amian at the time, a Red Hat partner, and been partners for maybe 5 years, close on. And as a partner, they were invited to take part in the first Hackfest, and sort of internally, the call went out for volunteers. There was a description of the Hackfest. It was going to be using OpenShift, but Quarkus and IoT. Now, as I said, I spent years writing Java, but moved to the infrastructure side. And the idea of going back and writing Java, writing a modern, writing Java using a modern framework, and actually deploying onto OpenShift rather than just watching others deploy onto OpenShift really appealed. Along with the kind of the opportunity to have a real life use case for IoT. It's one of the things that at the time the company was looking at, but we hadn't gone any further than some very, I guess, basic proof of concept where you will respond to an event over the internet in some way, shape, or form. So it'd be nice to take that a little bit further. And then, of course, Cool Toys. The Hackfest was promoted with the Raspberry Pi and some of the sensors attached to the Raspberry Pi, and kind of getting the chance to use them and use them again in a real life scenario. So that was the attraction. That was why I wanted to get involved and how I got involved. So then, what's it like to take part? So first off, it's an interesting experience. It's a challenging experience, but it was great fun. And it was a great introduction to the technology. So like I say, for myself, working with OpenShift every day, there was not too much there for me, but the Quarkus on top, the Java, the IoT with the Raspberry Pi and Fedora IoT, fantastic to learn about. And inside, gosh, go on there, and sort of we started off with a week-long or a week-long set of workshops every day to bring you up to speed on each of the different technologies for a morning, and then a bit of an outline of the whole Hackfest and the process. And then over 4 weeks, we actually created the product. The first week, it was a real start with the IoT device, the Raspberry Pi, and the sensors. So in this instance, we were testing air quality, basically, as COVID-19 hit and less folks were going out and basically driving in the cars, taxis, buses, anything. Transport was lessening, and we wanted to know, did it have an effect on air quality? So building out the tech and just getting the Raspberry Pi and the sensors working was quite a challenge. But we had weekly guidance. There was a workshop every week where we could ask questions and bring our solution as far as it was, and just check that we were going in the right direction. But alongside of that, there was a Slack community, which was really, really good. You had the technical team there to provide answers, but also you had the other teams. So although it was, it's a Hackfest, in essence, it's a competition to see who can provide the best solution. But during the time that you're actually creating the solution, there was a lot of collaboration in Slack, and you could post a question from one team and someone else in another team who'd worked through the answer, got a solution, they were happy to share, and that went through all of the teams. Really, really good to see that. So then over the 4 weeks, like I say, you were introduced to one technology a week, the IoT, Quarkus, OpenShift, to build to a full solution at the end, which then presented to the panel for feedback and just a kind of, this is what we've done, from the team. So it was good to get the chance at the end to show it off. However far we got, my team, we didn't get a full solution, but we got most of the way there, and it was great fun.
That's great to hear, Jeff. And I was putting in the chat the link of the community page for the Red Hat Hackfest website. If you go to the community page, you get the instruction on how to get involved. There was some screenshot from the slide that Andrea showed before. And also there are the links to GitHub and moreover Slack. As you mentioned, Slack, the community meets on Slack, so to share experiences and tips and tricks. And there's also a weekly meeting, if I recall correctly, Andrea, that the community join on Thursday.
Yeah, every Thursday, it's 4 p.m. Central Eastern European time. Actually, we're summertime, so it's GTM +2. But all the links to our tools and environments can be found at the bottom of each and every page of our blog. So it's easy to connect and access. I'm looking forward to listen to the next piece of the Jeff's speech, because it's going to be, I guess, about the community and your involvement, Jeff.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So if I can go back to the slides, Natalia, thank you. I will carry on. So yeah, following on from participation in the Hackfest, we were, as Hackfest participants, given the opportunity to kind of carry on and join the Hackfest community. And for me, that gave a great chance to continue to use the technology, to continue to look at different use cases, and best practices. So, as we said, what is the community? There are weekly meetings where we get together and discuss a number of topics. Sometimes it is, potential use cases, new use cases. Like I say, we started off looking at COVID-19 air quality. Then the next couple of Hackfests, we were looking at a factory scenario and an industrial usage there. And at the moment, we're actually looking at what our next use case should be, and the technology that we're going to use within that. Also, discussions around different technologies that we can use. We started out with the Raspberry Pi as the IoT device, and then moved on to a Fitlet and a NUC for single node OpenShift, as were kind of more appropriate for the industrial setting. And yeah, again, there's more technology, both in terms of the software and hardware out there to take a look at.
Jeff, if I may add something to your presentation here.
Please do.
I would like to remark what you brilliantly exposed here about discussing new use cases. Now, we usually ask Carlos and the Edge go-to-market in EMEA and the other geographical regions in Red Hat for feedback and information, right? So we pick up usually a vertical or a business challenge based on what customers and our partners are working on. And that's why, for example, we implemented together with Intel the edge manufacturing use case, using their hardware certified thanks to our support. Also, of course, they're certified by the OpenShift view in the case of the Intel NUC, but with our support. But also it's important to remark here that the community is always keen to give support to our partners, so to the companies belonging to Red Hat Partner Ecosystem. So for example, we have several collaborators. Jeff is one example, but we have other community admins, so the core component of the Hackfest or QAUT community come from the partner and have decided to keep contributing to the community in order to have this mutual learning experience. And we usually try to collect, anonymously indeed, some business information around potential customer opportunities for our partner ecosystem. And that's where we try to make sure that 80% solution we decide to implement, because maybe next use case is going to be energy and utility and not retail, or maybe automotive rather than healthcare, that 80% solution piece will fit into Jeff's customer, or Siegen from LSD customer, or other customers that could have a potential business opportunity for our partner ecosystem. So that's quite important. Thanks, Jeff. Back to you.
No, not a problem. Not a problem. Definitely worth calling that out. So a couple of other things that we do within the community. When we have a use case, we dry run the Hackfest in terms of setting up the hardware, installing the software, and running it through. And then once a Hackfest is actually running, as part of the community, we'll support the participants. We've spoken about Slack already, and everyone's on there within the community and able to provide feedback. So it's not just on the Red Hat guys. So I guess the next question is, what have I got from the community? Since I've joined. So it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. First and foremost, it's a good team, it's a good group, and it's always Thursday morning meetings are always something to look forward to, catching up and seeing what's next, and just generally getting together. So as well as that, good practices, good ways of working. We'll bring to the table our own specialisms, as Andrea mentioned, and it's a good way to learn from other people. Tips and tricks outside of your specialization. So certainly Andrea spent time helping me set up Eclipse as a very kind of small example that, the best.
Every time you mention Eclipse, people think I'm the classic old style guy, technical guy.
Yeah, tips and tricks like that, as well as best practices.
Geoff, let me
Yeah.
ask you a question. Just one more, the ones you already did yourself.
Yeah.
From as the perspective of one who is not a Red Hatter, how a guy like you can join this community in a more effective way? So if you want to collaborate, to bring some contribution and be part of this wonderful family, do you have any advice, suggestions, skills that you're looking for, that is something needed beyond the people that is willingness to work, obviously, on your project?
So I guess, like I say, for myself, I joined off the back of participating in Hackfest. But I would say anyone who's watching and can see these links, or after the fact, you can see the community page on our site there. Take a look, and if it's of interest, then just drop a message on any of the channels there, and someone in the community will respond and get back. So that would be how to join. But as to who we're looking for, first and foremost, as you say, someone who wants to join in, someone who'd be enthusiastic to take part. Doesn't necessarily need to bring much technology-wise, because it's something that they could learn if they have an interest in the area. But obviously, if they do have something to contribute on the technology side, that would be great. And at OpenShift, IoT, Quarkus, edge computing, RHEL for edge, they're some of the technologies that we use. So any experience with any of them would be great.
Yeah, and just to add to what Jeff shared, in terms of contributing, of course, as we treat and discuss cloud native application development, for example, we expect some minimal skills in containerization, for example, so container technology and Java development, in case people are more keen to contribute than learning. That's what I would say. But in general, we are always keen to suggest also personal career and development path there. So if people have an interest in edge computing or IoT, but they're lacking Java or container skills, we are always happy to help. And during our weekly meetings, we can discuss use cases, as well as, for example, it usually happens that a few members are investigating for their own purposes during the week specific features of RHEL for Edge, or specific features of ACM, Red Hat Advanced Cluster Management, and they run small demos in a very technical, deep technical fashion. So it's always possible to learn there, to get some fruitful thoughts, and also recommendation to improve from the technical standpoint.
Okay, thanks for replying.
That was an easy question.
The challenging one is yet to come.
This is why I write my own questions, because I know what's coming.
Please go ahead.
So yeah, the next question on that basis is, it's a two-way process, the community, and you get from it and you give back. And just a couple of things that I've given back or had the chance to give back. Some Tecton build pipelines. So within the community, I got the chance to learn a bit more about Tecton than I did, and therefore kind of build some pipelines to give back that we can use or that we've used as part of one of the projects. I've had the opportunity to write a bit of Quarkus and actually contribute that in to the Hackfest. I've given back my opinions, plenty of opinions and thoughts on possible use cases, design decisions, and the likes. And most recently, I've put a blog up there on the site around deploying NFS on the single node OpenShift. That was scratching a personal itch almost, and that to deploy stateful applications on the snow, we needed some storage on there, and rather than having to define it every time, I wanted a bit of dynamic storage, and this was how I did it. So hopefully if it's of benefit to others within the community and going forwards. So that is it around the community. But I'd just like to kind of take an opportunity, if you'll indulge me, just to say a few words about Intiv, given that that's the partner, the Red Hat partner that I work for now. And Intiv's mission statement is to help customers transform their business, designing and engineering people-centric digital products. What this means is just we work with many different customers to kind of introduce or update their digital footprint, whether that's kind of applications online or working practices within the business. It's a worldwide organization, growing quite fast at the moment. We've got more than 3,000 employees worldwide, with a kind of focus on EMEA and Americas. And like I say, some of the building blocks of our success, the partnerships there, Red Hat, Microsoft, Google, many others. They're the technology partnerships, and then customer partnerships. Obviously, we wouldn't be anywhere without the customers, and that's a few of the partnerships that we have there. And that is me. So thank you very much for the chance to present and talk about my participation in kind of the Hackfest and the Hackfest community.
Cool. Thanks a lot for your words. It was really interesting. And who's next, guys? Carlos, probably?
Yeah, I will go next. I will share my screen, guys, so
Please
give me 30 seconds. And send me a ping when you can see my screen, please.
We see your screen. Let me enable it. You should see
Here
that.
it is.
Yeah. Here we go.
Okay, great. Yeah, I will start my session, but we are working in the opposite direction. Let's say we normally introduce the edge topic, then we speak about technology. But it was super interesting, the presentation from Jeff, and thanks for sharing all this information.
Thank you.
Yeah, in regards to edge computing, so I will start by introducing where do we are with edge and how we are supporting our customers in the edge technology adoption through our internal teams that could be SSAs, and as well the Hackfest program that is more focused on use cases. But let's start with the edge topic. So as most of you know, so many companies are investing in IT technology at the edge mainly. As you can see, companies are obsessed in the applications because applications are driven business, and they are accelerating the time to market through applications and IT services. And as well, 800 of these applications are deployed at the edge. So this is super interesting information. And some analysts are saying that by 2025, 50% of enterprise managed data will be created and processed outside the data center, so mainly at the edge. But let's introduce some key challenges that we are facing with our customers in the adoption journey of edge technology. And this is something that they have in common in many verticals. So regarding, for example, industry and manufacturing, so they want to have intelligent systems to improve their production and the asset and to optimize their products. That means they need to have a better product quality management, improve their supply chain and their stock. If you can imagine manufacturing of goods, so they need to control the demand. They need to forecast the demand of the retail stores in order to improve their production line to fulfill all the requirements. As well, they need to improve safety and security for their workers. And most relevant is they need to have intelligent systems close to the edge size, to the production size, to improve the decision making through advanced analytics. And all of these challenges, how do we provide solutions to all of those challenges? So in the edge space, in the edge market, so we have very strong portfolio, and it's a portfolio that most of our customers already know because they start the digital transformation journey to containers some years ago with the support of our services, with the support as well of the Hackfest team in the POCs or use cases. So as you can see, the portfolio in Edge is the same like the portfolio that you are using in the central. With the difference is the big difference is those solutions are adapted to the Edge use cases. That means in terms of Edge footprints, they can be adapted to small form factor hardware or computer industry computer PCs, different deployments around OpenShift, like single node OpenShift, remote workers, or 3-node compact clusters. As well, you need to deal with everything is data driven. So you need to take in all this information from IoT sensors, edge endpoint devices, and you need to manage this information and integrate it with application data driven pipelines. We are providing application services through Red Hat integration, and as well to stateful applications through Red Hat Data Services. And in Edge, you need management and automation. And as you know, all the tools that are around OpenShift, from advanced cluster management, so how to centrally manage all the OpenShift clusters that are geo-distributed across different edge sites or multiple edge sites. Security is another super important topic in terms of in the technology space. In the container space with OpenShift, we are providing as well advanced cluster security, automation with Ansible, smart management, and as well the platform. So the platform where customers are running their applications. And all this technology that we are providing as well this technology close to a strong partner ecosystem. And the partner ecosystem is important for Edge because we are providing only part of the solution. Then the customers are working with ISVs or system integrators to implement the infrastructure at the edge and as well to create the applications that are running on top of our solutions. And as you can see, we have a strong ecosystem, and as well, thanks to the support of programs like Hackfest, we can scale faster in the ecosystem partner. And this is super important for us because Edge is the main challenge of Edge is the interoperability. So we are open to create and extend our partner ecosystem, because in the interoperability, from the starting point of selecting the right hardware based on the use case, the space in where the hardware will be deployed. So the problem starts very at the first level from the hardware. Then on top of the hardware, as you know, we need to integrate different application integrations, from storage to database to DevOps tools and application runtimes and platforms.
Carlos, may I ask you for a feedback on my thoughts? So in the 7 years I've been working in Red Hat, I've started implementing the so-called AMM framework, application modernization and migration, that was targeting customers approaching the business challenge of the digital transformation. And if you could go to your previous slide, please. I clearly remember that what we actually consider edge footprint, and you brilliantly explained, was displayed at the very low level here, instead of management and automation. So I see edge customers and edge partners now trying to move from the single partner supporting the single customer in its siloed specific digital transformation journey into an environment where multiple partners and potentially multiple customers, because they used to also share recommended practices and speak to each other. And this is my experience as a former head of digital transformation services in EMEA. So I see multiple partners and multiple customers working together to solve that subset of generic edge and IoT technical challenges. Is that something you have spot also?
Yes, exactly. So as I said, without our partner ecosystem, so we cannot scale the business and we cannot fully support our customers. And you mentioned edge footprint. So there is a huge demand to adapt our technology to more relevant small footprints that can be industrial computing on board of trains, on board of factories, on board of robots, or as well in computing vision for video analytics on board of drones, or as well on board of cameras. So, and the challenge is that, so if you don't have a strong partner ecosystem, if you don't work closely with the vendors that are providing as well the hardware, the application integration to our customers, where we are working together, so it's very difficult to be successful in the edge market. And as you can see, our portfolio, we can provide a full stack of software from the infrastructure all the way out to the application integration services, where we are getting data from IoT devices and sensors, and up to AI ML, because this is another important relevant topic. So this is not only edge solutions, because we are getting the data at the edge, and we have the capabilities through our solutions to moving this data to the central data center or to the public cloud where the customers are running the AI ML technology. And we can provide as well AI ML technology where they can run their analytics algorithms to learning more and improving their products and services.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thanks to you. That was a very good question. So from the edge adoption strategy, so as you know, during the summit, we have been promoting a lot edge. So Red Hat really believes that edge is going to disrupt the new market. And in terms of early adoption, so validated partners is one initiative that the Edge BU is providing those validated partners where customers can test our solutions. But we need to be careful in this area because this is something that is public available where we can demonstrate that our technology, the different layers of our technologies are how to ensemble there together, as well how they work together. But you need to be careful because sometimes companies, they need to achieve um, some use cases, they need to achieve to performance requirements. So you need as well, sometimes you need the support of Red Hat. So they are easily consumable validated patterns, but we recommend to, if you are interested or if companies are exploring Red Hat technology for edge use cases, engage Red Hat, engage your sales representatives to support you and work together. That could be work together with a Hackfest team, then they are mainly focused on use cases, and then we can improve those validated patterns and moving from POC to production. This is one validated pattern that is available. So for the industrial edge, and as you can see, so many squares, many logos, but this is, let's say, to make this simple. So in these validated patterns, we are showing how we are getting data from devices and sensors through an application that is running on top of OpenShift or RHEL for Edge. And then we are using the Red Hat integration to getting all of this data and information, using CamelK to transform this data that will be consumable from Kafka for event-driven architecture, so to build your data pipeline. And then as well, as you can see, I was mentioning before, from the edge location, moving data to the data center. So if you have, for example, use cases like predictive maintenance, that are asynchronous use cases where you are getting information from different source robots, whatever is the source, then you are improving your machine learning algorithms and models, and you are as well controlling and predicting the failure condition of your machines. But this is, as I said, it depends of the customer business challenges, because this could be works for predictive maintenance, but in other case, you need real-time analytics. So you need to have the capabilities already at the edge. And this is where we are working to provide solutions. And thanks as well to the Hackfest team that is working together with us as an extended team to provide the support to our customers to build this kind of technology and use cases. Another interesting area is the selection of the platform. So in the adoption strategy, the portfolio is not complete. We need as well new solutions to provide to our customers. And when you need to select what is the right platform for edge use case, so it depends as well of the requirements, right? It could be RHEL for edge if you are running traditional workloads, if you don't need to have containers that are communicating with each other. Or as well, it could be OpenShift as well, right? So if you have container native workloads, cloud native workloads, if you have HA requirements, or if you need to scale those workloads. But in the middle, there is a requirement because you can have RHEL for Edge, but sometimes you need to communication within containers. You can use OpenShift, but OpenShift requires as well resources. So depends on the use case, right? Let's imagine computer vision. You have an intelligent camera that needs to needs to do analysis of the videos in real time. So you have a containerized application for this video analysis, but you need to get the most CPU, the most capacity of the CPU and memory from your device. So Microshift is a project. Right now it's a project, but we are working to onboard Microshift as a product because it could be the best solution of both worlds, RHEL for Edge and OpenShift. But I am anticipating something to you guys. This is a still project, but we are working very closely to our customers in POCs, and as well, the Hackfest team can support us in this journey for the Microshift adoption.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Carlos, because actually we would love to invite the Microshift team and product management in the next session. So that's a great anticipation. Thank you.
Cool. And finally, to close my session, so a recap about the summit. So as you have seen during the summit, we had 6 sessions around edge use cases. The main that I was directly following for example, for deliver care anywhere with edge computing. This is very interesting because it's how Red Hat is providing a solution, and this is a proven solution from people that is working, from doctors and nurses that are working directly in healthcare, to detect through X-ray diagnosis to support the diagnosis of a threat or illness. So, and this is really interesting use case because you can see how we can provide through data pipeline an AI ML solution to support doctors in the diagnosis of this kind of threats or illness. As well, another use case interesting to follow during the summit was the partnership with Intel, where you guys have been working very closely. So there was a use case for edge control for industrial that was showing as well results about real-time workloads in industry. So how to monitor it, how to improve the management of the systems for industry through this ECI technology that we are working together with Intel. There were as well sessions for 5G and Open vRAN around telco business. And the most interesting one was the session, let's say, it was briefly information about how they build their solutions with Red Hat. But because of this organization is military defense, Mamran in Israel, so they show during the summit how they quickly provide IT services with edge computing with Red Hat technology. And just an anticipation, we will have as well, because RHEL 9 has been announced on 18 May. So we will have as well a session for edge. So how do you scale the complexity of your edge deployments with new Red Hat management services? So this is an edge management tool that we will present during the RHEL 9 webinar. And you can see the link here if you want to follow this session. This is going to be a very interesting webinar around RHEL 9, not only for edge, but the full story about RHEL 9 across new features and the new technology that we are offering with RHEL 9. Okay, that's all from my side. So thank you so much for inviting me in this session.
Thanks,
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you. That was really great. So let me stop the screen sharing. So we come back to the show. We have some people from the chat. Luigi say grande Carlos. Of course, Carlos is grande. Is a very, 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 very good friend and very technical. Now he explained a very good what is the business for Red Hat for Edge, and I'm looking forward to understand about the productization of Microshift. So Carlos, I don't know, as you say, we can't share much, but it looks like we're getting there, right?
Yeah, you are perfectly right. So we have a lot of demand from our customers, and we need the support of the Hackfest team. So this is going to be the most important product for Edge. So because this is applicable in many verticals. So actually, we have demand from mainly from defense, for example, because unfortunately this is a hot topic nowadays. Jetson devices on board of military trucks or tanks or helicopters or ships. But not only, so we have as well in computer vision, huge demand because everything is happening through video analytics right now. So security, threat detection in supermarkets or in the streets. So, smart cities, for example, in the airport security. So computer vision is really driven as well the adoption of this new technology because they need the CPUs on board of these Jetson devices. And in Jetson devices with NVIDIA, for example, we need the GPUs as well. So Microshift will provide the infrastructure to get the most of these small form factor devices.
Wow, thanks for sharing that. They're really cool. Looking forward to see that in action. Andrea, you told me that you're gonna talk with the Microshift folks to insert Microshift in the Hackfest.
Yeah, that's actually something we are already investigating from the technical standpoint, and we are in touch with the Microshift engineering team and the product management to follow and to paying a lot of attention to the roadmap. And also we want to make sure that the features and the capabilities they are implementing and continuously improving within the tool have a meaning for our work. So yes, Microshift, we will have the chance to speak and get deeper into the Microshift concept and also make a comparison with Podman on top of RHEL for Edge. So stay tuned for the next episodes.
Very cool. So thank you for this discussion. It was an amazing hour talking about the Hackfest, the community, all the technology. It was also an opportunity, Tanya, to introduce the Hackfest office hour here at OpenShift TV. So the next time you will be with Tanya, Andrea, and all the community, with Jeff and all the people from the community. They will have this space to share about what is the journey. Maybe they can update us about the Microshift or any new technical enhancement in the Hackfest project. So thank you everyone for joining today. Thank you for attending. For people attending, you have the recording of this show on YouTube or Twitch. Fabio, for our appointment today, there's the OpenShift TV schedule. Of course, you please stay connected. We come back next Wednesday with talking about Podman this time. We're going to talk about Podman for production. There will be Alessandro and Gianni, author of the book Podman for Prod, DevOps with Podman, that will talk about how to use Podman for pipelines and production. Andrea and Jeff, I know you also use Podman for lots of the stuff on the Hackfest. Maybe it's a way also to share also those information. Thank you, everyone. Talk to you soon, and please enjoy the Red Hat Hackfest community. Ciao.
Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you so much.